Excuse me, can you get me a drink, man? That asshole over there wouldn't get me one. It's all right. Makeup won't come off. Anyway, you're not talking about the Gibbet family because after all this is a sort of testimonial to his, this taping. But Gibbet's brother, as you know, got it. He gone to the doctor, and the doctor has analysed him, and he said, I'm sorry, but he said, you got HIV. So what? You got it, mate. HIV got it. He said, well, where do I go from here? He said, well, we've got to notify the authorities. He said, not only that, he said, I'll give you these forms here and I want you to write down your last 100 partners. I said, fuck it, what do you think? I've got eyes in the back of my head? You know that, talking about that same family, Gibbet, he's gone in the brothel the other day, and the girl, she said, yes, darling, what can I do for you? Gibbet said, well, what do you got? She said, well, it's all up there on the board, darling, it's all up there. He said, I can't read. She said, all right, I'll help you. She said, for example, there's a hand job for $20, a head job for $50. Gibbet said, hey, hang on, you got anything without a job? Actually, Gibbet went on doing an apprenticeship and he becoming an electrician. And he's working for one of them sign company, what is he? Neon type business. And anyway, he put up this sign and he was doing it for Oxo. The Oxo make the cubes, like the soup business. And he reached over to go and get his cordless drill and he fell through the sign, and he died. True. So what happened at his funeral, when they put the headstone up, it read, here lies cousin Gibbet, there was no one better. He went as he came through a hole in the ladder. I shouldn't be told all this, but anyway, I told about Gibbet before he went. This wife of his, Edie, she gone to see Morton. Said, Morton, I'm worried about Gibbet. So what's the problem? He said, he thinks he's a lawnmower. She said, well, you better get him to a psychiatrist. She said, I can't, I'll lend him to the next door neighbour. That's enough of the Gibbets, fuck them. You know that me and Morton one day we were walking down the beach out here and Morton he's found this flagon and he's opened him up and this puff of smoke coming out. No, it wasn't Molly Meldrum. But this puff of smoke is coming out of there and it said, I am your genie. I've been in this bottle for 10,000 years. For you releasing me, I'm going to grant you one wish. And Morton, being the type of sincere type person he is, thought to himself, all right, Jenny, the wish I want is, I want you to fix up all the troubles in the world. So what do you mean? He said, for example, he said Bosnia and Somalia, where they're all starving. You know what the genie said, hang on. He said, I've been in a bottle for 10,000 years. He said, I don't even know these places. Show me a map. So, you know, Morton got the map out. He said, there you are. There's the Bosnia there. And there's the Somalia there. He said, oh, shit. Look, he said, 10,000 years, this is a bit hard. He said, can't you give me something easier? Morton said, all right. I want you to make Jiddigan beautiful. He said, give us another look at that map. I like him, huh? Yeah, well, I've got him everywhere, mate. Agro's down here. Guess what he's doing? Fucking technology, they run out of tape. You know that Morton, he was sent home the other day from the doctor with a jar and some Playboy magazine, you know. He said, Morton, I want you to give me a sperm sample. So he's come back the next day, and the jar, you know, it's empty. He said, Morton, what's the meaning of this? So what do you mean? He said, well, the jar's empty. Yeah. He said, well, you know, I tried it with my left hand. He said, and I tried it with my right hand. He said, Jiddigan, she tried it with her left hand. She tried it with her right hand. He said, my mother-in-law, she tried it with her teeth in and her teeth out. He said, none of us could get the fucking lid off that jar. Actually, he's gone back one more time to that doctor. He said, oh, Doc, he said, I've got a big problem, boss. He said, I'm one of this, I've become this kleptom stealing shit, you know? Kleptomaniac. He said, what can you do for me, Doc? He said, well, Morton, he said, here's a jar of tablets. He said, take 3 a day for a week. He said, in a week's time, he said, if you don't feel any better, come and see me and bring a VCR recorder. You want me to run that past you again or what? All right. Nobody knows what the fucking kleptomaniac means, eh? Got a room full of fucking nymphomaniacs. Fucking idiots. It's all right, you can edit this, can't you? This going on the news tonight? Right. Actually, Morton, he was a doctor once. Yeah, true. Oh, he's been struck, not a witch doctor either, but he was one doctor. But he's been struck off since. And this woman, she's come in with a baby, you know, and said to Morton, you know, I'm really worried about this baby's weight loss, you know. So Morton said, well, is he bottle-fed or breastfed, you know? She said, oh, breastfed, you know. He said, well, I better examine you, you know. So she's taken her clothes off, and Morton is sort of feeling around the bumpy bits, you know. He said, just as I thought. He said, you're not producing any milk. She said, I'm not surprised, I'm his auntie. Anyway, before he was a doctor, Morton has developed himself one rash. He got a rash down his left side. and he's going to see the doctor man, the witch doctor. And he said, "What can you do for me, Doc?" He said, "Morton, old tribal medicine. What you got to do is, you got to kill your best mate. You got to boil him up, and you got to get that fat off that and rub that on your chest, and that'll get rid of the rash, you know." So Morton is going out to scrub with cousin Albert, and he's gone up behind him, and he just couldn't bring himself to do it, you know. So he didn't do it, and the rash he spread to his right side, you know. So he going to see the witch doctor fellow man again. He said, "Doc, what I'm going to do?" He said, "Morton, I told you, you got to kill your best mate. You got to boil him up. You got to get the fat off that and rub that on as an ointment, you know." He said, "Now get rid of it." So Morton is going out hunting again with cousin Albert. He's come up behind him and hit him over the head with a full carton of Forex. And with that, he's got him, dragged him over there and put him in the pot, boiled him up, got the fat, rubbed it on his chest, and the whole rash is gone. One foot, I better go see the witch doctor fellow man, you know. So he gone up to him, he said, "Hey, old man." He said, "You know that remedy you told me?" He said, "That worked really good." He said, "Tell me, what do you call it?" He said, "Oh, I don't know what I call it, but the white man calls it palamine lotion." Here's a hypothetical question. 7 flies on Morton's ass, and 2 are fighting. Which 2 out of the 7 are fighting? The 2 in the ring. Actually, going back to being Morton when he was a doctor, this woman, she's come in to his surgery with a splinter, and Morton, he's examined her and said, "Oh, you got a splinter there, right?" He said, "Well, it's going to take me a week before I can remove it." He said, "A week before you can remove it? Why is that?" He said, "Paperwork." He said, "Paperwork?" "Yep." He said, "It's a case, you know, of ecology these days, and it said that I have to fill out all these forms, you know, for the environmental impact study before I can remove any timber from a recreational area." Fucking crazy, isn't all this paperwork? But actually, if you're looking at Australia, the way it's going, with the shooting, muggings, killings, strikes, you really got to wonder about our immigration policy 200 years ago, don't you? Morton the other day, he got in court again. You can't believe this bastard's always in court. Should have a parking spot. He hasn't got a licence. "No, mate, I'm drinking scotch. Black label, double." "Don't fucking sit down, get over there." Anyway, here's another gate crasher. Huh? Bullshit. Fucking... You didn't get him on camera, did you? Fucking Australia's Most Wanted, hope you did. But anyway, this one too is in court. Morton got caught with a still. You know the still for making bullets? And anyway, Morton is pled not guilty, The magistrate said, well, Morton, on the grounds of having the equipment, I hereby find you guilty. Well, I said, all right. He said, you might as well charge me with rape. He said, well, you confessing to that? He said, no. He said, but I've got the equipment. One time, Morton and Jiddigan, they were in the park, and it was really dark, you know. And Morton said, oh, geez, I wish I had a torch. And Jiddigan said, so do I. He said, you've been eating grass for 10 minutes. You know this, Morton, he's got on one day and Jiddigan said, Morton, the trouble with you is all you ever think of is golf. Golf, golf, golf. So he said, you eat, drink, smoke, golf. He said, I bet you don't even remember the day we were married. Well, I said, yeah. I said, that was the day I got the hole-in-one. Wonder what club he was using. This, I think I've seen some sort of solicitor fella around here. Is it true? I don't know. I thought I'd seen him walking. But anyway, talking about Dreamtime stories, you know, the long, long time ago in the Dreamtime in Eben, there was St. Peter walking down the fence line, because there's a fence between heaven and hell, you know. And anyway, St. Peter is walking down there, and all of a sudden he saw this big hole in the fence, you know. He said, shit, hole in the fence. Got to be the bastards on the other side. Nobody in heaven would do this. So he looked through the hole in the fence, and he yelled out to, you know, this bloke with a pitchfork. Yo, Nick, get here. He said, yeah, what do you want? He said, some of your rotten mongrel bastards in there put a hole in the fence. He said, go and get 3 of your engineers and get it fixed up straight away. So, he said, what if I don't? He said, I'll sue you. He said, where are you going to get a solicitor from? Morton, he got a job one day in an electrical store, and anyway, this bloke is coming in and said to Morton, how much for the TV? That's a television, just because you don't know what I'm talking about. Said, oh, $5. I said, $5? 22-inch colour television? Yep. So what about the toaster? He said, I'll throw that in for 50 cents. 50 cents for a toaster? Christ almighty. He said, how can you do this? He said, well, it's like this. He said, my boss is around my wife's place. He said, and I'm doing to his business what he's doing to her. It's all right. The reading's nearly over. Oh, this is a fucking true story too. I'll bring this out of the Bible here. You know, Morton said to me, said, hey, Billy, you know something? Remember our great-uncle Siddeley? He's named after a town down south, you know? Yeah. He said, you know he once had a premonition when he was going to die, how he was going to die, where and when it happened. He said, and guess what? It all happened like he had that premonition. I said, who told him that stupid notion? He said, the judge. Talking about court cases, that Morton is, a lot of it goes on around here, but Morton is doing some cat burgling, and he's not stealing cats. But anyway, he's got in this house, and this voice said, "Me and Jesus are watching you." I went, fuck. Said, "Me and Jesus are watching you." So he's turned on his torch, spun around, there was a parrot. He said, "Did you say that?" I said, "Yep." "So what's your name?" He said, "My name is fucking Ermagene." He said, "That's a stupid name for a fucking parrot." He said, "Not as silly as the name of a rock wheeler called Jesus." This one story, years ago, it's all fashionable now, but, they've got the old wooden dunny lid, not like the plastic, they've got the wooden one, and all the yuppies have gone in for that bullshit. But anyway, years ago, when we weren't yuppies, we just got caught with a toilet seat. Morton, he's varnished it, and anyway, Jiddigan's going to use the dunny, and she sat down and she got stuck on him, So she screamed out for Morton. Morton's come out there, and Morton thought, "Crikey, what can I do here?" So he threw his Akubra hat on her lap, to give her some sort of vanity, and he's rang, the, fire brigade. Anyway, the fire brigade has come along, and they're going into the dunny and come back out to Morton and said, "Well," "we got some good news and some bad news." He said, "The good news, we should be able to save your wife." He says, "The bad news is Slim Dusty's a goner." And so am I. See you later.